Uh, Alright, guys. I think it's only 2 games, right? Yeah, I typed in the wrong the wrong channel name. Okay, we got some chicken 1v1s here. So the quality's not going to be the best. Unfortunately, I have a little bit of a cough now, so you're going to have to bear with me some. But we're here for fun. Chicken is delicious. Yeah, I think it's 2 games. I'm not getting an answer, but I think that's what it is. So these guys are... I think the highest rank we'll probably see is like around 1700, so it's not going to be like the best, but this is like a for fun tournament with the Chinese that they're doing, so. What rank am I? With Terran, I don't know, we're still dropping points. Protoss is around maybe 2050 or something right now. But we have Marsox versus Blue Castle. No, Marsox is actually pretty good at Terran. Like, he's around like 1700 or so. A lot of these people we're going to watch I haven't really seen do 1v1s. Trying to get confirmation if it's only 2 games, but nobody responded. But I think they're only playing 2 games. But the fun of watching the chickens 1v1 is you never know what they're gonna do. We'll try to have some fun with it too. Okay, thank you. Oops. Thanks, Wendy. Somebody answered me in the chat. There are crawl spawns. I kind of expect to see a lot of 2 gates instead of like... I don't think we're gonna see any like actual build orders, or at least very little out of a lot of these players. Like, we're not gonna see like a 19 rangeless or 21 rangeless or something expansion. Probably gonna see a lot of 2 gate or something like that. Mars6 does know at least a few builds, more or less. He is gonna get last scout. I think we pylon scouted. Duel winner gets 3 points, loser gets 0 points, 1-1, each get 1 point. Gotcha. I'm not playing this tournament, right? We kind of felt like... Was there any players playing that I'm should sign up for? But this is pretty much just for the chickens, right? Alright, Marsok's gonna go to 3 Marines. You actually don't really have to do that, because it is crawl spawns, the goons chasing the SCV. You know what I'll do? I'll use this for kind of explaining what players like could be doing or should be doing or something like that, right? In a more informative way. So, in TVP, when the Dragoon is chasing your SCV, you can like go CC before bunker, which he did do here, which is correct. But you can even like cut an extra Marine to get this all out faster. And then if you want, you can add the extra Marine. But I felt like with these spawns, he didn't have to do that because Fighting Spirit is such a long map on a cross spawn. Just the 2 Marines is totally fine. And he also is like floating like 600 minerals or something. But so like Marsok's, like I said, kind of has like the general understanding of what to be doing. So we'll see like some kind of build orders here. We went 2 gate into Nexus. Blue Castle trying to find an angle to get on this barracks. Did take a lot of damage to this Dragoon, so when the tank comes out, this could easily go down now. And did not leave a Dragoon behind for the Vulture, so the Vulture is going to get inside and start killing some probes. And this is already like really, sorry, really bad for blue here. What's up, David? Yeah, and this damage is just like really, really bad. For Blue Castle, the game's kind of already over. Well, the game's over. You can't lose this many probes. This is 7 probes going down. So we're gonna be maybe a couple more even. Guess we had no goons like queued up. Finally, goons are coming out now. A little bit of panic targeting so we don't kill any more probes there. That being said, massive lead for Marsok's right now. Actually is starting to make more Marines. So maybe with that damage, he's gonna go for like maybe a 3 tank push with a bunch of Marines. Could turn it into a 2-fact as well, which I think we're gonna see here. I imagine this one is gonna be to drop a factory. Up. So I think we're gonna see 3 tanks and then he's gonna push. He might go with 2, but I'm expecting to see 3. Thing is, Blue Castle did go 2 gates, so he's gonna have a lot of goons when he gets across. We'll see how the push goes here. Sorry, a little bit distracted. Alright, so we're gonna wait for the 3rd tank, and then it should be Vultures following up behind this. So it's gonna be like, what, 6 Marines, 3 tanks, and then like a Vulture rally is what I expect we're gonna see, and it's gonna be very hard for Blue Castle to stay alive. After taking all that early game damage. And you kind of see it reflected in the supply here, 50 to 36. Dropping an eBay, just for safety, I guess. 3rd tank coming out, we're not necessarily gonna wait for it, we're kinda waiting for it. Forge in the wall, and actually in this case, walling is going to be very bad for Blue Castle. It's going to work against them, especially if we're getting siege mode. This is probably mines. I don't know if we actually got mines earlier or not. We're going to see when a Vulture comes out. If it's not mines, then it's siege mode. Yeah, so we already got mines, so it's going to be siege mode, which makes this wall like really, really bad for Blue Castle. It's going to start here. It does pick off a few Marines kind of for free. This tank lagging behind is actually hurting the push quite a bit from Marsok's. 1 goon's going to go down now. Siege mode is done. Vultures are going to start getting here. So a little bit disjointed from Marsok's, but still going to be okay, I think, for him. We'll like look to maybe put sieges here. And then going down for Blue Castle, but that's not going to do anything against the siege tanks, obviously. Marsok's not quite paying attention, so is going to get one tank picked off. Oh, not quite, actually. Re-siege. But he's still really far ahead in supply. Going to continue rallying vultures. Could drop a CC behind this as well, or additional factories. So there's an additional factory coming down now. And we're just going to take this very, very slowly, it looks like. And it's the Panic DT coming in for Blue Castle here. The chicken special. We're probably going to see a lot of DTs in these games. You know what we should do? The winner of the 1v1 chicken tournament. I want to play against the winner. Can I do that? When the whole tournament's over. Yeah. Alright, Shogun gonna come in, but we do have these turrets set up. We do have mines in kind of like questionable spots. Yeah, challenge the champion, exactly. I think that'd be kind of fun. It was an okay mine drag, wasn't quite right on top of the tanks, but did soften them up a little bit. It does pick off the one tank, but we bleed off a ton of dragoons, lost the shuttle, lost 2 zealots. Essentially just for a couple vultures and the tank, so... DTs might be coming out soon, but as I said, there are turrets set up here, and we're actually going for like kind of a hidden gateway for the DT, possibly to defend, while going back for this Nexus. I actually don't hate the thought process. I totally get what he's thinking here. Unfortunately, he's just going to be so far behind, and this contain can just pivot over here to clean this up. Now there is going to be DT defending it, and we don't have scanners, so he actually might have a very hard time killing this base when DT come out. Depending on like mine usage and stuff like that. Fourth factory on the way, got the armory coming from Marsox. Hope everybody's happy. I'm saying Marsox instead of Marsix, as much as I can anyway. I got some complaints about that before. Yeah, there we go. We got this defensive DT for this Nexus. It's actually not, like I said, it's not the worst idea I've ever heard. I totally get the thought process. It's kind of funny. Who knows? Maybe I'll, instead of making fun of the chickens, maybe I'll learn some things from the creativity of what we're gonna see going on here. Are we shuttling probes over? We're gonna pick this DT up. We're gonna go for a DT drop. If it gets in the main base, I mean, well, he'll have scans by then. He should. Here it's gonna die. This observer, I mean. And a bunch of vultures get into the main, start killing some probes. Or Blue Castle. Losing all of his economy here. And I'm going to go ahead and say this drop might die to the turrets. If he's distracted. Let's clean that up. We'll see if he clicks over here. Okay, he does, so he's not going to lose us to the shuttle, or the turtles, but we did start the comsats now. And unfortunately, I don't think this is going to get very much damage. We can kill the turret and kill the comsat. Maybe it could get a little bit done, but he needs to kill, like, every single SCV, and even then, I don't think he can win. Does actually scan with the wrong scanner, so if these two don't die, there's no longer detection. Fortunately, we did not run them away, and so that one scan does end up killing both the DT, and with that, feel like Blue Castle has no hope at all. We are down to 36 versus 102 supply. Does actually still need to wait for the scanners to finish again. Scan goes down, both DT die. This base is gonna die. But Blue Castle, he ain't a quitter. He looks at this situation, he's like, I'm pretty sure I can make a comeback from here. We're dropping Dragoons on this weakened tank. We are gonna get the tank. Great pickoff. DT comes out. Another Vulture goes down, second scan comes down. There goes the DT, the base is dead, and GG is called. Marsok's taking game 1, so earning himself at least 1 point in this series. Hey, I don't know what the map rules are or anything. I just kind of assumed the whole thing would be on Fighting Spirit. Ugh. All right, hopping into game 2 of this 2-game series. See what adjustments Blue Castle makes here. See if he recognizes that one of the biggest issues was we let that Vulture up our base. He probably isn't like even super aware of like standard TVP builds, so I don't think he knew this Vulture was even coming. So hopefully he like adjusts, realizes he needs to block his ramp or try to intercept this Vulture so that doesn't happen again. This time they are at close spawns, not cross spawn. So the travel distance is going to be a fair bit closer. Cross spawns on this map is pretty insane travel distance. like this depot placement from Marsox, what this does is when you spawn here, so your SCVs would normally come out here, but when you put the depot here, it does actually make them come out here. So it's just another one of those like little things that make a small difference, but over time can add up. The only thing is a lot of people like to actually do like one more to the left and have it come out a little bit further away, just because what ends up happening sometimes is it actually comes out on top of these SCVs and it gets very difficult to collect. But if you're accurate fast, then this is obviously a little bit better. So just a little small trick there you can do to get some faster mining. And actually, this is a very good gas timing from Marsox coming down at 139. So pretty good like mineral mining here from Marsox to start. See the core come down here for Blue Castle. We are cutting some probes already, which is a little bit less than ideal. Okay, probe started now. Looks like we are not going to make a zealot. Oh, this is why we were trying to micro probe. Very close to dying. Just one hit away. Marine on the way. Extra depot comes down. And we see the SCV get cancelled, so we can start our factory. The factory was a little bit late, even though our gas timing was really good. Just didn't have the SCV like where it needed to be. So we ended up putting it down to like 30-ish gas or so. Little things, doesn't really matter in the long run. It's just something for me to talk about. Meanwhile, Blue Castle, yeah, cutting a bunch of probes, and this is going to come back to bite them. You don't want to be doing this typically. His eco is just going to be really far behind. We already see it reflected in the supply. Like this supply gap is like workers. And Protoss is typically expected to be up in workers compared to the Terran, because Terran has to cut a couple in the very beginning of the game to get their build timing correctly. And we're going to see a third pylon come down. So this actually is a little bit early since we've been skipping so many probes. Our supply is a little bit low. But that should mean that he just continues goon production. We'll see if he goes up to 2 gate again this time. If he wants to do something a little bit different. This is already thinking of doing something. It might be a fast robo. Yeah, so it's going to be a really fast robo. Maybe he wants to try Reaver this game. But this does mean we're going to have an incredibly late Nexus. And Marsox... Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Marsox is going to be able to get up here and scout and see that it's a very fast robo before Nexus. Is going to deflect here with the 3 Marines and the Vulture. And Marsox just having a very standard opener. Two-gate robo. Not sure if he has any plans to expand. So we should see, I imagine, eBay coming down like relatively early for Marsox this time. Okay, it's going to be an observatory, and he actually gets in with the Vulture and sees that it's an observatory, so it's not going to be very fast Reaver. And this is just, kind of like I mentioned before, Blue Castle not really being a 1v1 player. Not knowing what the timings are and things like this. We're going to see a lot of this. And that's okay. So it's going to start an observer, probably here soon. And take his natural after that. Of course, this does mean we'll be starting our natural after the Terran Command Center is already mining. For those of you that are like newer 1v1 players, and you might would do the same thing as Blue Castle here. Essentially what ends up happening, or what you can do, is you only need 1 gateway. And you don't have to take like an early Nexus per se, but with 1 gateway, continuous pro production, continuous Dragoon production, you can do like a Nexus at like 29 supply or something like that. And it's totally fine. Like, this is a viable way of playing. You typically are never going to need like a robo this early, unless you're planning on getting aggressive with Reavers or something like that. So if you're like new to 1v1 and you're playing PvT and you're not really sure how to build, Just do something like that. Just go one gateway, keep making your Dragoons, and then when you, like I said, keep making your Dragoons, keep making your workers, and when you're getting around 29 supply or so, you'll be getting close to enough for, for your Nexus. And when you're doing that, like, you can have your Dragoons up front, like, kind of harassing or containing or whatever. But Vulture did get inside, killed like another 5 or 6 probes, and we tried to dive on top of this tank, did not get it, and lost another Dragoon. Also lost another Dragoon, took some damage here to the mine. Now we're putting the Dragoon on the ramp, but there is no longer a Vulture. And I think we're just going to see pretty much the same thing from Marsox. Got a bunch of damage early, we're going up to our 3 tanks. Might push out a little bit later, maybe he wants to wait for 5 tanks this time. But this to me looks like he's going for a push. You saw how late the expansion was. He got inside and saw, you know, there was no Reaver tech, that it's just 2 gate, killed a bunch of probes. So he knows Blue Castle's pretty weak right now. Okay, we're gonna go to 4 gates, so, or 4 factories, so I might not be pushing yet. Did also hit a bit of a supply block there. Sorry. Luckily the screen was where we wanted it to be. I think I just got... it's frustrating. I'm being told that I have to milk now. Would have been nice to know before the middle of the night. I wasn't supposed to do it tonight. And I was really looking forward to just relaxing this evening. Sorry. But yeah, we got this 5 tank push coming. And 5 facts behind us is just going to be a big rally. Blue Castle is down 20 supply at the moment. It is on 4 gateways at least, but worker count looking very low. Not going to be able to produce very well against this. And now that Marsox is set up, does get the position here. And it's going to be almost impossible for Blue Castle to break this, especially with the turrets coming up now. Might be able to get the drops off, but is going to lose when it's actually with a Dragoon and not even a Zealot. But yeah, loses the shuttle, loses all of his army. We got 1 Zealot behind us. Sorry guys. I know my energy kind of changed here. But yeah, Marsix takes out the natural. Gonna push him into his main, get the siege up here. Once again, doubling Blue Castle's supply. No, 24H is the name of the Chinese kind of like clan team, whatever you want to call them. And there goes GG, so Marsox is gonna win 2-0 and earn his 3 points. Okay, I'm not sure who's gonna play next. Or is that it? Sorry, I think we have another one starting here in a second. Okay, I'm gonna have to temporarily step away when this one starts, but I will be back. Okay, I might have to sit this one out. I am needed. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave the stream on. Don't want to stop it and restart it. I'm only gonna be gone for like 5-ish minutes, hopefully. Maybe a little bit longer, but not super long. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna leave this running. I'll be back in a little bit. Sorry, guys. I'll try and be quick. What's happening here? Is it canceled? What's going on? And then catch up here. Here we go. Okay, sorry everybody. Looks like we did, was this a 9 pull with a gas trick? So CC did do Gateway Expand, which actually favors CC. I mean, Forge Expand's also good against it. It's a little bit tricky with the Gate Expand, but you can defend the 9 pull like relatively easily. You just have to, it's a little bit more micro intensive, a little bit more picky. Because you will only have like, you'll have one zealot and a probe, and the second one would be close if they come straight across. So the way you end up trying to hold, yeah, so it seems like Wendy might actually know. So you put a probe and the zealot on the ramp, which is perfect. This prevents the run by. And then your other zealot's gonna pop out and would defend against this. Yeah, so Wendy's actually doing this like more or less correctly. Pretty good. So he knows. Wendy knows. Technically, you would want to get the gateway first, but he sees the extra things coming, and he just wants to be a little, or sorry, not the gateway, the Nexus first. But he sees the extra things coming, just wants to be extra safe. I think this is totally fine in this scenario. And then we're gonna get the 2 expansions from Duo here. I'm just trying to sort some other stuff out at the same time. Okay, Wendy actually, like, just not going for a Nexus at all. And we don't have an Overlord that's going to spot this, but he's actually just going for, it's going to be a Zealot all-in. Just a whole bunch of speed lots very early. And there's a good chance this catches Duo off guard. Is going for Lair, and the Spire is not going to be ready by the time speed lots are attacking him here. Yeah, kind of like pretending to expand. There's Zealot speed on the way now, +1 is on the way as well. So it's going to be like a big +1 speed lot timing that's going to hit way before Spire and could be very, very strong. The way Duo can survive would be just really good SimCity and Sunkens and just getting to your Spire. But he might not know this is coming, and it's also kind of tricky to get the SimCity you need. He doesn't really have the eco to like set up like really good walls and stuff right now. Did make a bunch of lings pretty early, and after the 9 pull, his eco is a bit weaker, like I said. So without that big drone count, it's like hard to get like the hatchery and like the like Hydra Den, Evo Chamber, get the full wall, get the Sunkens. You would basically, you kind of would need to concede this base, to be honest with you, which would be fine because we're playing against one base, and you're gonna have like the Meta air control. But CC does need to start going pretty soon. He is taking a bit of a gamble. The move out should be coming pretty soon. The speed lot's going to be relatively close. He will get there before the metas are out, but the metas will get out, and it's just a matter of how much damage can we get done before that happens. Right, here it comes. +1's probably pretty close to done. But not quite ready yet, so the Lings are going to trade a little bit better than they would normally. The mutas are on the way, I imagine. We got the creeps coming down now, but it's going to be way too late to be viable. Wendy definitely wants to go like into the natural and the main. The third is not overly important right now. And we're probably going to try to expand behind this, I imagine. +1, still not ready yet. The Sunkens are going to buy a little bit of time. We got the first muta coming out. I think we were supply blocked actually now that I'm looking at it, so we didn't get to start as many mutas as we wanted to. And now some drones are going to start falling. We need those mutas. Yeah, that supply block was painful. And this is going to be, I think, plenty of damage. We got the Archives coming down. We're getting defensive cannons. We'll throw down our natural like soon. Let's get his defense up first. Gonna go for the Spire, split a couple on drones. Very good play. Gonna focus down those hatchery as well. And yeah, I mean, these mutas gonna take so long to kill these zealots. Like, there's just gonna be so much damage done by the time it's cleaned up. Bunch of zealots running to the third base now. And losing drones right now is incredibly painful. All in all, no, he's dead. there is no plus side. He looks super dead. I was gonna try and find some positive, but I mean, Wendy doesn't have an expansion yet, but he's set up defensively, so these mutas aren't going to get any damage done. With the goons and stuff, I mean, this is like almost enough to break just the cannons, but with the extra units, if they come in and cover the cannons, it's totally fine. Okay, we're not going to come and protect them, so we are going to lose this expansion, actually. Like this area. Just have a DT pop out and start cleaning up a bunch of Lings. And maybe this is playable. I mean, we'll see. It doesn't really look playable. We're just pretending. Several muta gonna go down, 3 very, very low. Yeah, Wendy is going to hold on, and when this push fails, I imagine we'll see the GG come out of Duo. But actually got, like, kind of close to breaking through here. We got a DT on the lair right now. There was actually no Overlord here at 12 o'clock, so could have just killed the rest of the eco. Get some Archons going. And yeah, obviously it's like annoying for Wendy to lose this base, but it's like this area, but it's not that big of a deal. I mean, Duo very low on workers right now. You see it in the supplies, down 20 supply. We got the upgrades, we got the better tech. And yeah, this DT actually killed the lair as well. And Duo is going to try and play it out. We're scrapping. Supply-wise, like, it doesn't technically look that bad for Zerg right now, but the issue is the tech. Like, we're remaking our spawning pool and there's Archons out on the field, right? So this game could go on for a little bit longer still, because it's going to be hard to break that 12 o'clock base. But I can't imagine a world where Duo is ever able to kill Wendy from here. Okay, this counterattack's a start. We're going to deny this base again. But Duo needs another base. One base versus one base is winning for Protoss, and eventually Wendy is going to be able to secure this natural. Right now it's only one sunken. Second and third are on the way though. Yeah, second one just finishes. Third one's going to be pretty close to done. And Duo's going to come back. He is going to defend this, but... I mean, he's going to come back and defend it, yeah. Only lost, like, what, one drone? A couple of sunkens? Not that bad for Duo. Oh, I think we're blocking... Are we blocking our Nexus? Okay, it's like perfect. Okay, I wasn't sure. The indicator is like a little bit hard on Fighting Spirit. I wasn't sure if this was part of it. Don't mind me. Alright, so is Duo going to be able to get out and get a new base? He's going to try and retake his natural. This is why we like the chicken games, by the way. You never know what's going to happen. We expected them to get kind of weird. Now we're not going to be able to break this base. Templar Archives is being remade. And he can just go like Zealot, Storm, Archon. Be really, really good in this position. Bill does have a pretty big drone count right now, or whatever that's worth. So when this base is up, he will be able to transfer, but it's just so hard to see him catching up in this game. There's only 2 Mutalisks remaining. We're going into Hydras. But Wendy seems to be not entirely sure of his position either. Still making more cannons. Not feeling super safe. Is going to be scouting to see if there's any like hidden bases from Duo. But Duo is just taking the natural over here. Yeah, there's the extra Templar now. Gonna be making Archons. I'd kind of like to see some Storms, but he doesn't have a whole lot of anti-air, so I guess it's fine. Doesn't know if like Muta are being remade or not. Well, he should though, because he killed the lair, and he saw that there wasn't a lair up here. Yeah, if he spots this and kills this, then Duo's pretty much starved. He down to 1 base Zerg versus 2 base Protoss, and he has no way of defending that base. He's kind of just hoping that Wendy doesn't notice, but Wendy is aware. He's going to come over here and kill this. Drones are going to try to run to the 11 o'clock spot. And Duo might go for a counter, but I mean, we've got all these extra cannons. There's going to be reinforcements that are building. But he kind of sees this as his last chance, like, oh, maybe if I can kill the natural and knock him down to 1 base versus 1 base again, it's still playable. Wendy is going to go hunting for these drones. And I imagine once this counterattack fails, we will go ahead and call GG. We even have a DT on top of it to make it even worse. Wendy pulling probes to be extra safe, doesn't really know exactly how much is coming. And GG. Right? No? Alright, Duo plays from here. He makes another creep. Is he gonna make lurkers? He might make lurkers up here. He's playing like Jack right now. This reminds me of how Jack plays. He'll be down to like a quarter of supply and like massing Sunkens. Maybe if I can just survive a little bit longer. GG! Wendy takes the first game against Duo Duo. Is this a round robin? Yeah, it is a round robin. Makes sense. Okay guys, I'm going to step away for just a minute. I am sorry that I'm kind of bouncing back and forth here. Just trying to take care of something at the same time, so we will follow Wendy's perspective. And I will be back in just a few minutes, sorry. Okay. Sorry. Sorry, everybody. What do we got going on? That's the last time I have to AFK. I apologize. looks like we had a gate expand again from Wendy. Sorry, I was running. It's like sprinting between houses. Slightly out of breath right now. And looks like it was maybe another 9 pull from Duo. Yeah, this looks like another 9 pull. Not taking the third base with the hatchery this time. A little bit scarred from the previous like all-in-ish play from Wendy. But the wall is up. We have a lot of zealots here. This one is going to die off. Pretty good pick there for Duo, but now with the wall up, like these zealots or these lings aren't going to be able to get through here very well. Yeah, so what you ended up doing is you like harass the outside of a building like this, try and lure the zealots out, maybe you can get inside, have an opportunity here. He's going to try and fight the zealots actually, which is not really what you're looking for here. Once you like kind of get them to unplug. So basically, use lings on the outside to make the zealots come out and fight you, and then you can try to like slip in whenever they kind of leave their wall here. Because your lings are never going to be able to beat that zealot count at that point. Unless you're like ling all-inning. If you're going for a ling all-in, then fighting the zealots there is fine, but since he cut, ideally you just want to try to run in and get some harassment going. So really good start here for Wendy. There's a lot of Zerglings made by Duo, which means our drone count is very, very low. And Wendy is sitting pretty right now. Makes the safety second cannon here because he's not entirely sure what he's against. He's looking for a third base from Duo, but Duo is just playing 2 base. Got the Hydrogen coming down. Could be going for a kind of Hydra bust here off of 2 base. It's not going to quite be optimized since he is only on 2 base instead of 3 base. The kind of like major optimization is like a 9-7-3, right, where it's 9 drones here, 7 drones here, which is 1 per patch, and then you'd have a third base where you have 3 more drones. And then it can pretty much non-stop pump off of your 3 hatcheries. And actually you'll end up even, I think, getting money for a 4th hatchery doing that. I'm not like the biggest... I don't have a whole lot of knowledge for Zerg yet at 1v1. I think you'll start banking some and kind of transition out of it if you're not killing with the 9-7-3. So Wendy, seeing the Hydras, is going to drop some extra cannons. Afraid of the bust. Stargate starting as Corsair now. Citadel on the way. And we're just going to get a bunch of these like safety cannons here. So we don't die to any Hydra bust. But these Hydras probably just going to be used to put pressure on the wall. Kill the gateway, kill the forge. Force the cannons because Wendy doesn't know how many Hydras are being made yet. So ideally, what the Corsair's job is now is to fly across the map and see what is our Zerg doing, right? Is he making more Hydras? Is he making more drones? Or you just don't have to look and you can just kill an Overlord because that sounds more fun. But so, for instance, if he flies in and he sees there's this many drones on the natural, it's like, oh, I don't need any more cannons then. So he could actually cancel this cannon and make another gateway instead. Yeah, the Corsair's job at this point is like scouting. Getting an Overlord kill obviously is nice, but scouting is priority. So he's going to fly in here, he's going to see the second gas being taken, sees the drone count, sees the layer on the way, so he knows there's not going to be any more Hydras being made. So we could cancel this cannon if we are aware of that. Especially when we fly up here and see 2 more hatcheries. So there's no way more Hydras are coming to bust us right now. That being said, we're going to keep this cannon. Again, these are just like optimizations. It's not super important in the chicken games here. It's just me trying to teach a little bit, right? Can't help it. I'm a teacher by nature. I'm sorry for my voice, guys, and I'm like coughing and clearing my throat a bunch. I got the extra 6 gateways coming down, putting us at 7 total. Oh no, we lost this one, sorry, so we're at 6. Could get another another gateway if you wanted to. And we're probably gonna get Lurker out of Duo. No Spire coming down. Could be another hatchery. That's good at least. So Duo's macro, despite the opening not being great for him, Windy did overreact with his cannons to a very, what was it, like 4 Hydra, 5 Hydra is very little. So getting this reaction, killing the Forge, killing the Gateway, is actually really good for Duo. Because if you think about it, like imagine we made like 3 less cannons, right? Of when we scouted with the Corsair, if the Corsair was like properly on time, you would see the drones were being made, you would see no Hydras, and you could cancel these 3 cannons. Well, then that's 3 more gateways that are way faster, so you'd be pumping army way quicker. I think Duo might try to turn this into a Lurker Contain. Imagine that's what we're gonna see. So Corsair does fly back in here. Could be checking for a Spire, so it's always good to like fly through every once in a while and just kind of see what your opponent is doing. Sees the 3rd hatchery, sees the Evo chamber, scouts all the bases, sees no Spire. So he knows he doesn't have to worry about mute or anything, so at this point this is screaming Lurker Contain to me. And yeah, you see the Robo on the way now. Oh, did get a DT up here and actually saw that there was no Overlord, but unfortunately for CC we do have a... an Overlord did actually hatch here, so might lose like a couple drones. Unless we're not paying attention, could take some more. How many gateways does 1 hatchery equal? You know what's funny? I was actually thinking about that earlier today, and I have no clue, like how that actually, like what people have kind of decided. What's up, Tim? How's it going, man? Finally watching you during non-work hours, and unfortunately, I'm not playing anymore today. I did like a 4 or 5 hour ladder stream earlier. Even did a couple games off stream. I have like a massive headache, and they were talking about people like casting this. They didn't necessarily need me today, but I thought casting and relaxing sounded kind of fun. Kind of some chill games. Not like super high level, just here to have some fun, maybe learn a little bit. I can try and teach a little bit. My ladder session went very poorly. We lost about 80 MMR with my Terran account, but we learned a lot. So, for whatever that's worth. I started off playing really well, and then I just deteriorated. Another productive thing I did is I did make a layout for I want to do a tutorial video for like brand new StarCraft players, like people that are just brand new to StarCraft that want to play. So I'm going to do something like that because there's not really anything like that for people that have never played before. I actually never played StarCraft 1 ladder, only played BGH in StarCraft 1 and then in StarCraft 2 I did some ladder first year when it launched. Yeah, I mean that sounds about right. Like, absolutely playing Brood War casually is perfectly fine, of course. And then with StarCraft 2 it kind of felt like you either laddered or you weren't really playing the game. You know what I mean? You're impossible to get someone new to start BGH StarCraft 1. It is tough, for sure. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We don't have an observer here. Okay, there it is. It's coming now. Lurker's getting a little bit of free value. This setup is going to be actually very hard for Winnie to break, and Duo's supply does look pretty decent. This muted counter to deny the 6 o'clock base is actually really good call from Duo as well. I thought this was going to be a Lurker contain, but he's actually just defending with Lurker and using Mutas to counter. And there's not going to be any Corsair. We actually have no cannons here, so if the Mutas fly into the main, Wendy could be in a lot of trouble. Wendy is floating 2,500 minerals in the meantime, but this position looks incredibly difficult to break. Additional Ling streaming down here. Muta's kind of indecisive. Coming back home, are we attacking? What are we doing? I don't know if maybe this is a hotkey problem or we just aren't sure what to go for here. But realize this is going to hold, going to fly into the main. Sees that there is no anti-air whatsoever. And Duo's actually going to pull this game off. Quite a very good opening from Wendy here. Yeah, there's no anti-air. I mean, we got Zealots coming out right now, no Corsair being made, we have no Storm, we got one Dragoon. A few Dragoons gonna pop out, but I mean, Dragoons are not very good at killing Muta. Muta can just fly around, and even if you get a lot of Muta, they're actually just really good at fighting Dragoons in general. And with that, Duo's gonna take a 25 supply lead. Base is looking very defended. Wendy is going to try to expand to the 3 o'clock, but Duo does spot this. Also has pretty good upgrades at 1 and 1, with only 1 attack here from Wendy, so that armor actually canceling out the attack buff, at least on the Lings. I'm not sure how it mass out against the Hydras. And with this base being denied, it's going to be very difficult for Wendy to come back. Does still have a pretty good probe count despite losing so many probes. But Duo is going to be able to pick off a bit more. Gets this goon, kills a cannon, going to kill some more probes. And Wendy just going to be falling further and further behind here. Trying to do the stack micro, but we're actually using a speed overlord. So the Mutas aren't stacking properly. At this point, this is when you would do something like put a Ling here, and trap a Ling. To prevent this from happening. He's going to try and dive into the main, but 2 cannons did finish. Goons coming in behind, so we're going to bleed off a couple of Mutas. But to me, the biggest issue right now is just Wendy has like 1 Templar, right? He's going to have 1 Storm kinda soonish. And getting a 3rd base seems very difficult. He scouts the 4th base here from Duo. Ew, Hartosis, thanks for the raid, man. And you caught me on a kind of a weird stream. Nightmare, thank you for the follow. Blueberry Pie, thank you for the follow. Right now we're doing B-Money, thanks for the follow. So right now we're doing kind of like low level, like 1v1 casting. This is like a Chinese league, bunch of friends kind of playing for fun. Highest MMR we're gonna see is like, I don't know, maybe 1700, something like that. Frostburn, thank you for the follow. Choja, thanks for the follow. Thanks guys, I really appreciate it. Bullyhob, thanks for the follow. Yeah, thanks for all the love guys. Yeah, I really do appreciate it. I do not know what that is. So what are we looking at here? Wendy is going to go and deny this top left base. Which is obviously like pretty good for him. His supply looks pretty decent, but we're down 20 supply against the Zerg. That is on actually on Hive Tech, so Duo does even have a late game kind of set up for him here. And gonna go like maybe look for a Muta counter here, but there are 3 cannons here. And Duo doesn't really need to do any more damage at this point, just denying the 3rd base from Wendy is winning. I mean, we can sit here and win. Is going to go for the attack here. But getting that 4th base denied while the army is out, so we're going to go for this counterattack and kind of break through here. There's really not even much mining for Wendy at this point, so breaking the position's not super important. It's more just we kill the army to win. So it is going to bleed off a lot of units here, almost unnecessarily. And we're going to have this counterattack come in from Wendy, and we've actually completely dislodged all of our lurkers here. EVZ is the hardest matchup. It is tough. Yo, thanks, Mage. I appreciate it. Yeah, none of the, we don't do much of that around here, unfortunately, guys. Weak PVZ. Yeah, that's what I was saying before. Like, these guys are not, like, legitimate 1v1 players. It's a bunch of friends that are, like I said, highest MMR is around 1700. Wendy might be a little bit higher. Not 100% sure. But big counterattack coming in here is going to break through this position, and yes, Duo countered and killed this base, but like I said, this really isn't even that important. He just kills this farm and he wins. Is floating 3,500 minerals at this point. And even if he loses this base, we do have like a high ground here. There's only one lurker at the moment. We just need to be kind of pumping army. We can defend this base. Wendy completely out of money at this point. No more income. Yeah, guys, they call these guys chickens in the Chinese community. Chickens are the not so good players. So that's what my title means if you read the title. Yeah, this is the chicken group for China. Azukias, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. You heard them, boys. It's the cock group. True. The Rooster Gang. Wendy is getting a ton of value out of this, and he actually is up 20 supply round right now. Duo unable to spend his money. Kind of needs to gather some army. Maybe a little bit frantic trying to save this base. The chaos. Really, Wendy's not actually going to pull this off, right? I feel like he doesn't have enough to break through this base if Duo just starts pulling units. Red gonna win, bro. He might actually win, which is crazy. Okay, we made an Ultralisk Cavern at our third base. We're making our spawning pool. I'd like to see a couple more Sunkens. We are long distance mining our Naturalist Wendy. I have been in games like this before. I've won games like this before, so I get it. I actually went for 2 armor over 2 attack, which is kind of interesting. Or maybe it finished and the other one died. No, actually, his Evo Chamber has been here the whole time. Okay, we're rebuilding all of our tech here at the third base. This counterattack is going to be able to kill off kind of this weird, like, long-distance mining setup we got going on. Catching some Templar. I mean, this is actually really good for Duo here now. Even making lurker eggs on the ramp, because why not? And yeah, we got the extra Sunkens coming down here. I like this call from Duo. We are storming single lings. That's how close this game is right now. Need these units to come back, possibly, but I think it should be fine. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to break here. Should stream better matches. I do sometimes. I was requested to do this. I have a bunch of like A and S rank replays that I'm going to be casting sometime in the next couple days as well. But yeah, I was just asked to do this by that Chinese group. I've been a part of the group for a while now. But I actually really enjoy casting a lot. I don't necessarily think I'm that great at it, but I enjoy doing it a lot. Okay, and with Red trying to come up this ramp, not quite breaking the position, does mean that Wendy is going to starve out in what turned into a crazy close game, surprisingly. And now we just wait for Wendy to accept that this game is no longer winnable. Gonna get that storm off. Probably doing more damage to ourselves. And that is going to make this a 1-1 result. Maybe since I have a decent crowd here, I can cast some of those other replays that were sent to me. What I've been doing is, so I'm a part of Kaylee, which I don't know if you guys know, so Artosis is a part of the NA Pro League, right? With like all the top foreigners, or not foreigners, I guess, but the top NA players. And then K-League is like the group that I'm a part of, which is basically the NAPL rejects. We're decent, but not good enough to play with them. So I've been taking replays from some K-League guys and kind of banking them for going over their games if they had like crazy games they wanted me to watch. So I think since we have a good group of people here, I will actually cover those instead right now. I swear I made a folder for this somewhere. Literally cast requests, I'm blind. Right now I have 4, actually I had another one that was sent to me as well. I got 5 replays total that I can cast. I'll do like 1 or 2 of these possibly. Would I consider joining the Brown Brew crew? Sorry, that's not really my thing, guys. But I appreciate the invite. It's very thoughtful. Okay, we're gonna go with a crazy PVZ. Just kidding, bro. Yeah, no, I know. This one was sent to me. The player did request that it stays anonymous, but I guess this replay is a crazy game on Radeon. I have not watched this, so this will also be new for me as well. I think this was a kind of low S rank PVZ. And I'm gonna go ahead and skip through some of the early game here. Kind of fast forward a little bit, see if there's like anything too weird. This is gonna be, yeah, just overpull possibly. Could be 12 hatch. We'll see if it's Gate or Forge. I personally like Forge Expand on this map. Oh no, sorry. Gate Expand on this map is totally fun. I was thinking Blitz. Okay, it's gonna be hatch first. Was this a 10 or 11-10? Artosis is around low S. True. Is he right now? I actually don't know what his rank is right now. I haven't watched him playing too much lately. Everything looks pretty normal so far. Oh, nope, this is not normal. We are sending 4 drones across the map. This is very, very odd. Actually going to cancel this cannon, by the way. Okay, this is not... Oh, we hit S? We stopped our lings. Okay, so we're gonna call this, was this bijective? We'll just call him Jective or something like this, and then barcode. That ling stop actually hurts him like a fair amount here. If that doesn't happen, I think the game is over. Yeah, I mean, it might have actually been over. I mean, those extra several seconds make a huge difference. Looks like we're barely gonna be able to hold this. Maybe. 2 lings gonna get inside. Oh, nice drill actually to body block. Oh, but unfortunately that was a missed shot. Wow, really unlucky. So 2 lings are gonna get inside, basically one hit away. Yeah, pretty crazy start. Lost several probes and actually went down. So we're down 2 workers right now. Our Protoss hero here. Gonna use our probes to go after the weak ling. Heard this is the hardest matchup. I mean, it's all, I don't know. So I play all 3 races a decent bit, right? I haven't done a lot of Zerg 1v1, but I have played all 3 races a lot across a lot of different maps. I think PvZ, it's kind of hard to put into perspective. So like a lot of people say PvZ is the hardest, some say TvZ is the hardest, right? A lot of Zergs complain about Terrans, but I think nobody can make the argument that ZVT is the hardest matchup. So I think the debate is always, is PvT the hardest, or is TvP the hardest, or is PvZ the hardest? I feel like it just kind of depends. Is it possible to solve a match up 100%? I don't think so. Although I did hear recently that Artosis solved PvT. Or TvP, sorry. So when it comes to TvP, the reason it's so difficult for Terran, and the reason they feel, in my opinion, so like oppressed in this matchup, is Terran is not allowed to make many mistakes against Protoss. Protoss can make mistakes, they can waste armies, they can have bad attacks, something like that, and it's actually fine most of the time. And for Terran, you make one bad push out, you lose a bunch of tanks or something, your army gets reset, and the game becomes an absolute nightmare to try and recover. So, that being said, if you play your Terran like really, really well, like if Terran does what they are supposed to do, and they do it really well, it's very hard for Protoss to win, but it's very hard for Terran to play like at the level they have to play at. So I know I'm kind of like missing the game here. But this is more important. So I think that's why Terrans feel so oppressed in that matchup, is it's like you screwed up and the game's over. And it doesn't feel fair because Protoss can just like ape mode like 3 armies into you and be like, okay, maybe I should fall back and macro or something. But when it comes to PvZ, it's kind of similar for Protoss, where you have to have like a perfect balance of responses to what Zerg is doing, especially in the early game. And that's what makes it so hard. Like, you can see like a 973 and scout it very early, right? But if you make too many cannons, Zerg just transitions out of it and you're losing. So even though you can scout and stop the push, it's not really an all-in from Zerg if you don't perfectly balance how many cannons you're making based on like scouting info, right? So it's like you're scouting with your Corsair, you need to see like how many drones they have, how many Hydras are being made, what the appropriate cannon response is, that kind of thing. And it's just very, very tedious, especially in the early game. And it's very unforgiving, like you misread a situation and you're just dead. Or you misread a situation, you make too many cannons, and then Zerg goes up to like 70 drones uncontested and contains you or something. So it just kind of depends like what your idea of like what would be harder is. Is it harder that you have to play perfect, or is it harder that you have to like have perfect scouting information and like the perfect responses? Yeah. But with Terran, it's more like, did you miscontrol something? Did you take one bad fight? Did you not siege properly at the right time? Did you get caught off guard by, you know, storm drops or something, and then the game can just snowball so fast? Anyway, so this game, yeah, pretty crazy opening with this drone attack, by the way. Actually killed a cannon, got some Lings in. I feel like if he didn't accidentally stop his Lings, would have been able to break through and kill. We are making a ton of cannons, and I don't think we have... Yeah, we have no Stargate. So we're blind making these cannons because we don't know. And this is a really good example of what I was just talking about. He doesn't know how many more Hydras are being made back here. This could have just been, like, this amount of Hydras, and then he's, like, droning and expanding. We did skip Corsair because of the craziness of this game. We're even making an Overlord, or sorry, a Dragoon to kill this Overlord. Storm has started, but no Storms on the way yet. Templar are going to come after these Zealots. And luckily for our barcode here, it does look like Zerg's going to pull the trigger. We're just continuing only Hydras. So these cannons will be able to get some value. Still though, this is scary. This is going to be a lot of Hydra, and I actually don't know if these cannons beat this. Yeah, a bunch of Zealots going down here as the Hydras come in. Only a few of the cannons actually firing right now. Probes are pulled to try and body block a little bit extra. We can lose a lot of probes and still be playable from here. Templar are out, but they don't have the energy for Storm. This is actually like really tight, by the way. Hydra is gonna bust through these cannons, but I mean, this game to me looks over right now. Hydra's gonna break all the cannons, start killing these probes, gonna pick off a Templar. This looks like GG to me. We got storms coming up now. I mean, it's a pretty good storm, but it should be... Oh, we're droning? Oh, he's droning behind this. But why, though? This Zerg does some questionable stuff. So he breaks the front, kills a bunch of probes, and drones. This is still fine. Obviously, like, he's up 15 workers right now. I can't see how Protoss comes back from here. I guess droning is fine. Like, he did kill so many probes, but he actually broke through. Could have killed the Nexus if he kept Hydras, but maybe droning's actually better in this case, because he didn't really have a whole lot. I don't know. I feel like if we continue Hydra, he dies, though. So now we're going to go for this counter push with slow lots, and... Well, we got 3 High Templar coming out now. I'd like to see, like, mass units now from... Zerg is going to get a couple of Sunkens. We got the Spire on the way. It's floating 1,000 gas. This counter push is going to have to do some insane damage. But I don't think I see it happening. Like, this army is small. Legs still not even that close to done yet. Excuse me. Let's get this Evo chamber down here. A little bit of body blocking. Oh, no, actually the Zealots are going to slip through. Need these Hydras to come help out here. Okay, legs are going to finish. We're going to get some damage done, actually. Red is kind of forgetting about his Hydras here. Mita's going to pop out. I mean, it shouldn't be too much damage, right? What's it going to be, like 5-6 drones total? We did make some buildings, so we lost some drones there. And crazily enough, our barcode toss catches up on workers right now. Kind of. I mean, we're still down a little bit. Like, this is obviously still bad for Protoss. But that was okay. We didn't lose a whole lot of important stuff. It was mostly Zealots and 1 Archon. And we saw the Mutas coming, so now we're scrambling to make our cannons. Gonna go for a push out here. Archon's gonna get caught. Die pretty much for free. Gonna kill 1 Muta. And yeah, Zerg kind of getting distracted. Pretty sure he saw this with the Overlord. Could have picked off the High Templar here. Is going to be able to come back home with these, though. The Muta going to try to look to fly into the main. But we have 2 cannons up, 3rd on the way. We have some storms on these Templar over here. Going to make an Archon here. And I can't see this getting much damage done. Like, maybe like pressuring a gateway or something. It's not that important. Oh, huge storm on the Mutas, though, actually, so we're going to bleed off a bunch of Mutas now. Still, though, going to pick off a High Templar here. I mean, Toss is, like, kind of back in it, right? Like, we're only down 2 workers. Zerg has no upgrades right now. About to finish this +1 attack. We're 1-1 on our Protoss here. Renan, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Going up to, yeah, 6 hatchery, so it's gonna be just heavy Hydra. I don't think we got lurkers either. And barcode possibly looking to take a 3rd here. He is kind of getting to that point. It's a little bit later, but obviously the game's been really crazy right now. So our main's not even mined out by the 15-minute mark. Both players have stopped making workers at this point. I mean, there's not much reason for Protoss to be making workers. He's more or less fully saturated. Maybe with like a few more he'd be better off, but I mean, we're going to be close to mining out, so there's no need to do that. 2nd armor finishes when the +1 attack finishes for Zerg, so this is really good for barcode toss. Muta's kind of skirting around looking to see if they can find some High Templar. Clipped by one storm. Second storm is huge though. Third storm a bit of a whiff. Is going to lose all the Muta, but what do we have left for storms? We have one storm left, so Toss going to retreat. I agree with that call. You got to be a little bit careful staying out here now with one storm, but cleaning up all the Muta is fine. And then just fall back and like re-get your storm. So he actually has 2 more Templar behind this. Gonna try and push into the 6 o'clock base. A lot of Hydras here and only one storm. That's a pretty decent storm though. We do have another one almost ready. Yeah, exactly. With the that's what I was thinking. Like, if you're getting the storms out of the Protoss, even if they're killing the Muta, like it's still okay for Zerg because like Protoss has to leave now. When you don't have enough storm against the Hydra, you just have to leave. That being said, it was still a pretty decent fight. The upgrades are pretty decently in the favor of Protoss right now. And then yeah, the like reinforcing High Templar did catch the Zerg off guard and got some pretty good storms off. Muse, thank you for the follow, man. Appreciate it. But right now, we kind of need to back up, possibly. We do... Okay, this is a transfer. So a lot of times, and this is something a lot of Protoss get caught up with, bit of a whiff storm there, unfortunately, is you, like, fight, trade out your storms, and then you need to leave, so that this doesn't happen right here. It's typically better for Zerg if they're trading out their army for your army. And, like, if you're getting your High Templar count and stuff reset, this is, like, it's almost always good for Zerg. There are enough Hydra to clean this up, but it looks like he's going to go for the counterattack on 12 o'clock. We have 3 cannons on the high ground here, but it's not going to be enough. And Protoss is pumping out High Templar like crazy. I kind of don't hate it because it's definitely his best comeback potential. But now with this base going down, and that's with all of our workers going down, Protoss is very, very close to starved out. And these Hydra coming in, getting a High Templar here for free. This is another one on the ramp. Oh man, bit of a storm dodge there. Picks off all the High Templar. And for like the 5th time this game, I feel like Toss is dead, right? Did kill the 6 o'clock base, but Zerg's mining is still like fine. Yeah, we still have plenty of mining here for Zerg, and we're very close to mine out for Protoss now. Down almost 20 supply. We're up to 202 upgrades. We have +2 attack on the way for Zerg. You guys click on the unit on the ground when storming. It's kind of either or, right? It's more or less the same. You just click towards the biggest clump of stuff that you want to murder. The only thing that would do really good for Zerg for a lot of this game was just getting Lurker, because it's been so High Templar heavy. Like, Protoss has been pumping out so many High Templar that he's had to make a lot of extra Zealots. So in that case, like, the Lurkers can get a lot of extra value. Yeah, if you're using, what I call it, Magic Box. If you're Magic Boxing, then yeah, you gotta click the ground. Otherwise it screws it up, it'll stack. A really nice storm there. And a second storm also pretty good. He's gonna be able to clean this up. The 202 is getting a lot of value here, at least. Are we gonna go for a ninja expansion in the top left? I can't believe this game is still going, by the way. This started off with like a 4 drone or 5 drone attack into the wall to kill the cannon. With like a Ling follow-up. Bunch of meters got remade. Gonna pick off a High Templar. Another High Templar goes down, gets an okay storm, but... Oh, there it goes. No, wait, it didn't die yet. We must have clicked something else, right? I think we shot the Zealot, is what it was. So, a couple extra meters go down, but it's still totally fine for Zerg. Don't think we're going to be able to mine enough to get our hidden expansion up here. I mean, we're mined out in the main now. Natural super low. This is like a nice army, I guess, but... What point do you get Hive to finish off with a couple of plagues? I mean, I feel he's kind of... I'm sure he's felt like this guy's been dead for a while now. I mean, I feel like Toss has been dead for a while. Another Templar goes down, a second one as well. I mean, this is like really painful as we're building up more and more Hydra. Yeah, these mutas are just getting so much value now. We've killed, what, like 5 Templar with this? Gonna get another one. Oh, no. Okay, doesn't quite get it. Actually bleeds off a few. Good Storm. Does bleed off the Templar now. We have 3 more High Templar behind. Supply is still even though Protoss, like, isn't mining. But this Hydra army looks like too much. We're gonna have, I guess, 4 Storms? Maybe a little bit more. Pretty much 4 Storms. I mean, we might get enough energy during the fight by the time it happens. Toss basically has to kill him. Yes, he has his hidden base, but it's so far from mining. Like, our probes are still sitting here at home, right? So this attack has to, like, work some miracles. Which, like I said, supply does look good. Upgrades pretty good. 202. Looks like he wants to deny the 6 o'clock base. Okay, we're gonna transfer these probes. If this goes unnoticed by Zerg, is this still playable? Surely not, right? Okay, yeah, the mutas do notice it. Dare I say, I feel like that means Protoss is dead now. Been saying that for the entirety of this replay. It's a 22-minute game that started off with a drone drill, guys. Okay, 3rd armor finishes. Our army is actually really, really strong right now against this army, though. We're at 13 minerals. We actually got to our cannons and we're mining a little bit. First storm to take 2 Hydras. Second storm completely whiffs. 3rd storm, mostly our own army. 4th storm is huge, actually. Those 2 storms are massive, and another huge storm now. And is Zerg in trouble? He doesn't really have a lot to fight this army right now. He's going to use Muta to try and pick off a Templar. But it actually doesn't go down before it gets the storms off. But a bunch of Hydra just hatched now. How many storms do we have? We have 1 more storm. Yeah, we're just down to 1 final storm here. It's going to have to be a pretty big one. And that actually is a really, really good storm. Zerg actually down, what, 20 supply now? Oh my god. And Barcode actually takes this game. How many times did I call him dead? I mean, it looked like he was dead a good, like, 10-15 times throughout this game. But these storms at the end, getting so much value. Yeah, exactly. Zerg just kind of clumping, and I mean, those are the storms you have to do to win a game like that. But yeah, there was no lurkers or anything. We were just going really heavy on Muta to snipe storms, but I mean, Protoss made like 100 Templar this game. Could do a ZVT. I don't know a whole lot about ZVT yet. Or PVT. Any preference? ZVT or PVT? What do y'all prefer? One second here. Probably go with PVT if nobody has a preference. I just know a lot more about that matchup. Either is fine. Alright. My main race is Protoss. I'm like typically around 2100 when I'm being active, but I've been playing a lot of Terran lately and I'm like just a little over 1800. Lost like 80 MMR today playing Terran. It was not a good day. Alright, so we have ranged versus a barcode PvT on Citadel. Ranged is high A, low S. A lot of times he's beaten a fair amount of S players. So typically we're going to see pretty high quality games from his replays, I'd imagine. Yeah, it's a Terran barcode this time. Oh, we're gonna get a 2-gate from ranged. Okay, I've actually never seen ranged play 2-gate before. Interesting. Might have to ask him what makes him decide to do that on this map. Oh, right, it was. That's true. Cheesy PvT. It all makes sense. Yeah, it looks like a standard opener for our Terran player. So we're gonna get a lot of goons then. So it's gonna be like heavy goon pressure against the normal opener. We'll see the add-on come down right after this, I'm sure. Actually, maybe we'll see the bunker first. There's the add-on. Yeah, the SCV wasn't really in position for the bunker. Depot before the bunker. This is fine. Yeah, if you're gonna go to 3 Marine, then you depot before bunker. Sorry. These are things that I like kind of know, but I'm still in the process of like learning and remembering. So 3 Marine and Vulture obviously is gonna be able to push back the first Dragoon, so in that case you can delay the bunker. You get the depot first. A lot of times, like, you can kind of read the situation, like if the Dragoon is chasing your SCV around, not coming straight across the map, then you can actually stay even on 2 Marines. And just kind of cut corners depending on like what the Protoss is doing. But we are 2-gate, so there's going to be a lot of Dragoons coming. Is our range? Our range is done. We'll start putting a lot of pressure here, and at this point, this is when Aaron will be like, "Oh, this is a 2-gate," because I don't think he actually. I wasn't paying attention. He may have gotten an insult. I'm not sure if he did. For me personally, if I see 2-gate, then I kind of want to end up going into things pretty quick. The Vulture is still good. If you're getting mines out in time, but I'm pretty sure it's like very difficult to get mines out before like the goons are putting too much pressure, so you end up typically wanting to go siege tank. Vulture is gonna, or the Vulture is gonna get blocked. We're actually gonna go 3-gate legs. It's one of these games. The 2-gate Dragoon gonna pick off a few SCVs. So getting pretty decent value there right now. Ranged actually up 2 workers at the moment. And this is just going to be like a Zealot all-in. We're just going to mass Zealot. And this Vulture... It's going to be very hard for it to get the information right now. Dragoon is properly positioned to intercept if it comes into the scout. I don't know that I've seen this version of this. Like, it's not a Bulldog. We've even pulled off a gas. Like, we're just straight up all-inning with speed lots. See, Range is trying to mix his play up. Okay, the Vulture is going to get in here and see the Zealots. So he might be able to identify, like, what's going on here now. I guess the counter would be... Oh, Starport is not it. Yeah, that kind of sucks for him. I feel like you need, like, mines a lot of mines in a sim city, right? Like if you can like wall this off, get like throw an eBay in here, get some supply depots, that kind of thing. Feels like that'd be really good. Just screw with the zealots, but yeah, unfortunately we're in Starport, so we're gonna be on one factory building turrets. Maybe he's worried about a DT drop. He saw no expansion, and yeah, now we're gonna have these speed lots run in. And we got like nothing here. We got 3 units, and then 4 Marines in a bunker. And no GG is called. We are pissy about that one. Yeah, you only saw the 2 zealots at choke, so it is very hard to kind of tell, and almost impossible actually. And this is part of the problem with TVP as well for a lot of Terrans, is getting the information can be very difficult sometimes. Alright, let's check out a ZVT. My knowledge of this one's not the best. But we'll learn. We'll learn here now. Kavapu is a S-class. S-class? Why'd I say class? Did someone say class? I swear I read this somewhere just now. He's an S-rank Zerg. And I guess this is against a fellow Korean. So Magenta here is going to be Kavapu. Top right is Rudolph. I feel like I should know who Rudolph is, but I don't. And Kava sent me this replay and said that he wanted to show some games from when he was like in his prime. I guess he's not feeling too good about his game lately. You're in NA ecosystem, true. Muta into Lurker into Defiler into Ultras. Yeah, I wonder if we're just going to see like standard, like high level play here from Kavapu. So what I know of Kavapu nowadays is he is he's very high level, but he does have some times where it's like he loses focus. His late game hasn't been that great from what I've seen, but his strong point is definitely his mid game, and his Muta control is insane. So I imagine we're going to see some of that on display here. One thing that gets lost in replays is turn rate and latency info. True. Also very true. Yeah, I do kind of wish you could know the latency, because it does matter a lot. But this isn't TVB or one-on-one, right? So I think this is a... I don't know if this is a tournament game or what, but they're both speaking Korean. I guess Kavapu, though, he does live in NA, so... Yeah, I don't know. It could be like 16 turn rate or something. I'll be honest with you, and a lot of people feel this way. When it's like turn rate 12 or lower in 1v1s, especially if it's like high or extra high or something, you kind of lose motivation to like play anymore. Like everything feels so sluggish and slow, it's just like... Yeah, it's a tilter. I get very whiny when it's very laggy. So I get it. I get it. Pretty quick second racks. Right? Second racks before gas. I don't think this is super normal. And I think it was a 15cc. He did scout the hatch first. Later on the way here at the natural, which is already a little bit different. I don't think it really matters. You just don't see it too often. This kind of looks weird with a morphing hatchery with creep coming out. Fast forward through this a little bit. Gonna see just 2 lings right now for Kavapu. Transfer coming down, gas on the way. We'll see the Academy, I imagine. Yeah, Academy coming down. And with this Overlord here, like, Kava knows we can skip Sunkens for as long as possible. Kills the SCV. The SCV may have seen the drones hatch there, Spire on the way. So everything looking pretty normal right now. It's a 2.5 base for 2.5 hatch, 2.5 base. I think they call it 2.5 base for Kava. He's gonna do this off of 2 Zerglings, so it's actually pretty decent for him. No pressure coming out of Rudolph here to force any Sunkens or anything like that yet. But there will be like a small window, like if we went now, but we don't. Okay, there are 2 medics coming, so he might go with this this unit count here. We also might just also an option. Okay, so the mutas are gonna get out uncontested. Does scan, sees the Spire, sees the 2.5 hatch, knows exactly what he's against. Did see the Spire finish, but we're not in a hurry on our turrets. I guess it's okay. The timing's probably like I'm definitely not one to like judge. It's more like me trying to understand. I imagine the timing's gonna be like perfect, right? He saw when the eggs were like even starting, so he knows exactly how much time he has. A little bit of a move out here from Rudolph, but Kava knows that it's not a whole lot, and his mutas are out, so he's gonna skip the Sunkens. There's a little bit of a fake push here from Rudolph. Does also buy him a little bit of time because the mutas were looking for the bio. And I got the extra turrets coming up, 2 on our barracks here, which is nice. Doesn't quite cover the ramp, so this can be like a point of a nightmare for Terran, not having turrets covering the ramp. And yeah, here we'll get to see some of Kava's Muta Micro. He's very, very good at it, from what I've seen, and I think this is, like I said, when he felt like he was more in his prime. And gonna be banking bio here, kind of splitting his bio. This is something I have a hard time doing, is managing my split bio without having Marines getting picked off like crazy. Like this stage of the game, the Muta stage, when you're Terran, is so hard for me. To me, this is the hardest part of the matchup. Is like getting through this without taking too much damage, and you even see it like in ASL and stuff sometimes, right? Where the pros will just outright die to the mutas. It was actually throw down a Sucken. I think we also threw a into the main, so we may have seen like the Hydra Den Queen's Nest. So all looking very standard here from Alvapu. The mutas didn't really get much damage done, but there were a lot of turrets thrown up and pretty good army distribution from Rudolph. Yeah, that's the hard part, right? Is you gotta keep them like in a proper clump in the right line so that everything's shooting, and you'll have some strays running off, and it's just... it can snowball like out of control all of a sudden if you're not careful. A pretty good defensive setup from Rudolph. With the double starport coming down, so everything looking really, really standard, I feel like, out of these players right now. Shield Battery, thanks for the follow, man. They're scanning the main here. Look to see the tech. So we know the hive is on the way. Okay, this factory actually working against him. We need to kind of move this back. Kava definitely doing a good job using this to abuse Rudolph, killing several SCVs. Wait, do we click an SCV under the... hang on. I kind of want to rewind, but I don't want to see how long the replay is. I swear that last shot was underneath the factory. Which is crazy. I don't even know how that was possible. Maybe I missaw it, but that's what it looked like. Okay, scans the third. That's always like really nice to confirm when you're Terran, is just to know where the third base is. Does get a really nice trade there and kills off a Muta or two. A few Lings. Scans the natural to see if it's breakable, but these are the 3 lurkers here. And now this stage of the game is where, at least when vessels start getting out, it starts becoming like damage mitigation for Zerg, and this was a great trade for Terran just now, killing several more Muta, only losing a few Marines. But once vessels get out, it becomes pain for Zerg. This stage, once the irradiates start, is why I don't feel like I can play Zerg. Because ZVT seems to be, to me, the most unsatisfying thing. Kind of looking for a counterattack here, not really going to find much. Leads off another Muta and a bunch of Lings for only, I think, 1 or 2 Marines. You have a 3 Lurker stack here. He's going to scan and see that. I like that. He tests to see how many Lurkers it was. Yeah, and this is just like the... kind of like the checks, right, that you're running against your opponent. Like, make sure he's covering his bases, make sure he's got the right number of Lurkers. You know, kind of punish him if his mutas are like out of position in the early game or if they were late, something like that. There's just a lot of checks that the Terran is going for right now. But yeah, Kava being set up pretty well. Not going to take any damage. And then of course, as most of you guys know, the win condition for Zerg a lot of times in this matchup is getting to that 4th gas. Basically, they just try to survive, and slowly work up their tech, get their upgrades going, kind of get into the ultras, get value out of their defiler, and eventually get into that 4th base, or maybe find some position where they can be a little bit aggressive. And now the pain starts, almost gets that vessel. And then for Terran, it's kind of the other way around, right? Like, Terran needs to keep the pressure on, get as much value as you can out of your vessels, keep killing gas units, like you want to kill Defiler, Lurkers if there's no Defiler around, and maybe eventually the Zerg will slip up and you can break through a position. But by getting value like this, it makes it very hard for the Zerg to get into a 4th base. And we'll see if he goes up to like 6 or 8 vessels. Usually a lot of times I'm seeing around 8 vessels before they start going into BC or anything like that. And Rudolph just actually like reacting very well. Like, he has taken almost 0 damage from the mutas that I was speaking so highly about. And you hear the constant scans coming down, just seeing what we can irradiate, seeing if like any positions get too weak or anything like that. Typically, you like to have your vessels split between your 2 different armies. But he is worried about like this kind of stuff sharking around in the middle. So Kava doing a good job of at least keeping the vessels to one place. And because he's doing that, he can just really focus on defending this area. You even see the Overlord hovering over the Lurkers here to try and kind of waste and irradiate there. Gonna catch that Defiler back here. Probably see a swarm go down if we're paying attention. And we're not, so the Defiler goes down. Is that an accident? We just irradiated our own vessel. I feel like that had to have been a misclick. Or maybe he wanted to D-Matrix even. Could have been a D-Matrix attempt. Clicking the wrong thing possibly, but it actually didn't even have enough for an irradiate when he did it. Big plate goes down. Gonna push this army back. Rudolph hasn't been reinforcing, or like I said, getting vessels down here. And now we're gonna move some down here. And you gotta be careful, because Zerg can get set up here and start using, yeah, like the swarms and stuff. So he's gonna push this all backwards and start his hatchery. And that's when it starts getting really scary. Once that 4th gas comes up and you're dealing with Defiler and Ultras and all this stuff, it starts getting really hard for Terran. Upgrade-wise, we're 2-2 versus just the 1 armor from Zerg. Does have the 2nd armor on the way. So upgrades right now looking pretty good for Rudolph. Should be able to cancel this base now. Feelings on the outside, maybe looking for a counterattack. This is another thing that was kind of explained to me that made a lot of sense. So with Terran, it's like when you have a ton of supply, which Rudolph's supply isn't super high right now, but when you're on like 160 plus supply or something and you just have like a ton of bio, having a whole bunch extra here doesn't do a whole lot for you, but instead using small amounts to like defend your bases, right? Like exactly like this. So this bio here doesn't accomplish anything but being a part of this group or a part of this group. I mean, maybe if it was a little bit bigger, would still be fine, but kind of get the general idea. So you might as well use them for like covering extra bases instead. Oh, a bit of a move command here from Rudolph. Actually, not a bit of one, a huge move command, and just bleeding off this entire army completely for free. You'd love to see it. 260 plus APM. Didn't notice that entire time that his army was dying for free. Not sure, I guess we were looking down here, probably doing irradiates. What's going on? We're just casting some kind of like low S rank games. But I'm losing my voice, so this might actually be the last one. Unfortunately, I do have like a very weak voice. It's very sensitive. It's gonna come down here for this. Yeah, low S. Something to work on, yeah. It's gonna spot this bottom right base. We do have the ultra armor upgrade as well as the speed upgrades, so the small amount of bio is not gonna be able to stop these two ultras, especially with the defiler coming in. And while this is happening, we're also getting this fourth base coming up now. And Terran is getting pretty low. What does that mean? Are you looking to do this professionally? Not necessarily. I enjoy casting. I don't think I'm that good at it yet, but I like doing it. If I get better at it, then, you know, great. If I don't, then I guess it's okay too. But I'm just a long-time StarCraft player, and I've recently started casting some. It's more of a... yeah, it's just for fun. I just enjoy doing it. Maybe someday I'll get good at it, and then we can go from there, but I'm not, like, super into it. Like, I'm not gonna be, like, bummed out if I don't get great. Got a bunch of Ultra Lane here going into the third base now of Rudolph. I cast the Elder game because I love this skin. Defiler is going to get picked off on the backside. Does get a Swarm off, kind of away from all the army though, so it might not get a whole lot of value. We do manage to get a couple Ultras into it though. Radiate's coming down on the Ultras, a couple Scourge coming in, kind of a crazy fight. And when the dust settles, supply is even, and as most of you guys know, even supply is fantastic for Zerg, especially because we got up to this fourth gas now, even finished a fifth base, and a sixth base on the way. So during this pressure, Avapu just used this time to just make a ton of progress on the map here. And it's going to be very hard for Rudolph now to push across and get any sort of pressure going. I don't know how many like hundreds of games I've watched of this stage of the game. I have never seen Terran come back and win from this point, right? Like, obviously this is extra bad, we're on 3 base and the Zerg's going up to 6, like I know this is terrible. But I feel like so often when we get to late game, one Zerg is like on that 4th gas and getting into like their Ultra Defiler tech and stuff, it just feels like Terran never comes back and wins from there at the highest level. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I pretty much never end up seeing it. But in this case, it's extra bad. Like I said, Rudolph sitting on just 3 base total. Pretty much mined out of these first 2 bases. Counterattack coming into the third as well. Vodkin, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it, man. And just all trades are good trades here. Actually, I say that. Rudolph is up 40 supply somehow. But it kind of doesn't really matter. Like, he's not going to kill a Zerg at 120 supply. And he is going to be mining out and slowing down a lot here soon. So it looks like the macro was like pretty decent from Rudolph, but there's just like no longevity here. Did get the bottom right base up and running a little bit. But even if that goes unscouted, it doesn't matter. I used to play StarCraft 2. I played during Heart of the Swarm, and I got to like the very bottom of Grandmasters in Heart of the Swarm. And then I came back to Brood War. I haven't played StarCraft 2 in a very long time. I still watch it. I like watching the pro play. But yeah, I don't actively play anymore. Alright, vessels coming in. Gonna throw down a few irradiates like with their dying breaths. But a whole bunch go down to the Scourge here. I don't know. I said it was like doomed. Rudolph's still actually able to put a bit of pressure down. Maybe looking to take this 12 o'clock base. But I mean, Zerg is on 5 gas right now. But we denied this base. We're taking another base here. This may actually go unscouted for a while. So Rudolph making a game out of something that I thought looked pretty doomed. I still don't see him ever coming back from this position. It's a Defiler pick, so that's nice. Gonna kill a couple Scourge. But the bank from Kavapu is very large. And typically you want to be like Zerg. What is it? Zerg around like 80-90 supply is very hard to kill still. So at 130 with like this mineral bank, it's going to be very, very difficult. But I'm actually really impressed that Rudolph is getting as much done as he is in this situation. Still finding like ways to be aggressive here. Only one lurker this position. Defiler is going to show up. But there's a lot of bio here. Maybe he wants to try and get a plague down. The ultra count's been pretty low this game. And yeah, there goes 3 vessels dropping. Very, very big for Kavapu here. So, Terran is kind of on 2 base eco now. Zerg mined out his main, mined out his natural. Did lose this base. I mean, Rudolph doing the best that he can with what he has. Yeah, we have been making a lot of Scourges, very true. There's the Swarm Plague combo that we all know and love. And, oh, another one actually gets down on top of this with the Ultra, so great trade here for the Ultralisk. If he pushes this army back and makes it to the 12 o'clock, then surely that's enough to end this game. The Terran kind of erasing his own units. A little bit there. I think that was an accident, didn't mean to irradiate our own vessel. And we see the supply getting closer and closer and closer now. Oh, we actually had another base coming down, sorry, I didn't even see this. And Rudolph, unfortunately, accidentally leading him to this base down here. Trying to turn back around, maybe hoping Kava doesn't notice. In the meantime, another really, really good trade under the Swarm Seal here, killing a bunch of units. Looked like a really big plague went down on pretty much the entire bio army. And just tons of fire bats coming in now. And the Swarm comes down with the Ultra coming up here. And yeah, we can't let this base go down for Rudolph. Like I said, you see in the supply, it's getting closer and closer. That irradiated Ultra. The irradiate on that Ultra just killed like the entire SCV line. We just heard like 10 SCVs go down. Another Ultra with Scourge down here. Over this base. I was gonna say the best thing you can do is lift the CC and kill a couple Scourge. Did actually get a couple Lurkers back here. Another Swarm coming down. Fat Plague hitting every single vessel here. It feels like Rudolph is running out of steam. This base got denied. This one has just a single worker on it. We're gonna try and take the 3 o'clock base. But the Swarm just keeps coming to 12. And our eco, you see it in his minerals, is barely moving now for Rudolph. I didn't see. Did we get a racer here? I'm not sure what happened here, but we have no drones on this mineral line right now. Meanwhile, we have like 1,000 drones on this one. And Rudolph, he ain't a quitter. We're gonna come kill this base again. I respect it. But minerals are barely moving now. This is essentially our only mining base. We have like 3 workers down here. If green wins this, right? There's no way. It can't be possible. At least in the PvZ, like, we knew what the comeback mechanic was. It was like massive storms, right? Like, we all kind of saw that that was a possibility. I see no potential here for green. Another huge plague here on top of this army. And just the value of ultras against Terran at this stage of the game is crazy. Looks like this base was found out. I mean, he's retaking 12. We got 3 mining a little bit. I mean, he is scrapping for sure. I really, really respect it. He is making Kava work very hard for this. I mean, Kava is about to mine out of this base. I wish he would mine this. Like, this mineral bank is going to run out. Gas do we have left? Oh, we got plenty of gas on that one. This one too. Yeah, Kava's got plenty of longevity left in this game. Gonna look for another fat plague. Bunch of vessels going down to these mutant, but we do lose all the mutant. It's only like 2 vessels actually. It's not a bunch. It's about 2 vessels only. Tried to land it, get a little bit going here, but Kava is on top of it. Not gonna let him get away with anything like too sneaky. We did go up to the triple starport, but we never made any battle cruisers. I didn't really feel like he had a chance to. The fighting was non-stop. He was like very high pressure. I like moving out like way ahead of your army to get these irradiates, but it does mean you're more vulnerable to the Scourge. It's good to do against the ultras, obviously, because if you irradiate the ultras when they're on top of your army, then you end up hurting yourself more than you hurt them. Gonna come to the 9 o'clock base and deny this. These ultras are going to be pretty softened up from the irradiates, so if he tries to defend like through this choke, they would just get evaporated at this point. What's Kava's play going to be here? Is he going to try to counterattack? Maybe go back to 12. He does see that it's mining again with this Overlord. These ultras are going to be partially intercepted. Take a few free shots there. No more irradiates. Looks like he wants to track this army. Yeah, we're just kind of running around. I don't know. Not sure what we're doing yet. This has actually turned into a really good game that I thought Kava was going to have dominated 10 minutes ago. I mean, we're still pumping, and we're actually getting close to max for Rudolph, which is wild. At one point, we had, like, legit 2 mineral patches that we're mining. And he's managed to pull this game back a little bit. And this army is, like, huge. This from Kava is not big enough. Have a swarm go down here, I imagine, and then maybe a second swarm even. Okay, a huge plague. Wow, and then the army just starts getting absolutely chewed up. All the irradiates come down on top of the ultras. That was a crazy fight. And a million Scourge come in. Start cleaning up a bunch of these vessels, but we still have 5 vessels. This 3 our poor non-stop vessel production has like really paid off for Rudolph. This Ultra is gonna go down. And he just scans everywhere to see like if there's no more bases. Rudolph kind of recognizing that there actually may be a chance for him to win if he continues to deny bases. So there was nothing at 6, nothing at 9. Comes up here to kill this base that is building. And he is going to get the cancel. Does eat a pretty big plague in the meantime, though. And this irradiated Ultra going to do some work here on the left side, killing a bunch of the bio. Is going to fall. And what is our eco situation like? I mean, Kava's mining off of the same number of bases right now. Actually, no. Rudolph is out mining Kava right now. Is Rudolph gonna win this game? Okay, this Ultra absolutely murdering an entire army completely by himself right now. This thing just got like 40 marine kills. Fernando, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it, man. My god, the amount of marines that Ultralisk just killed. Is that the game-winning Ultra? We have a swarm coming down here with the Lurker on top of these bunkers. Was one fire bat on the top bunker, but not going to be able to get any value. Rudolph, understanding his win condition at this point, is to try and starve out Kavapu. Gonna come here to kill the 9 o'clock base, but I think this is gonna be enough Zerg to clean this up. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely it is. Okay, this gets cleaned up on the right side. Did lose a lot of SCVs, so not mining much there. But, I mean, we have another command center here for taking this natural. We did not manage to kill this base, though. So Kava, once again, even on supply. See where he wants to pivot to. Looks like we're looking at 12 o'clock, possibly. No, we're gonna... Where are we going? Bottom right. I think he recognizes bottom right. Did manage to take 6 o'clock now. Not sure if we scanned and saw that. This has been, like, incredibly scrappy. Both players doing a pretty good job of being both aggressive with their army and economically. Putting pressure on that way. Scans ahead here, sees the Filer. He's gonna get plagued, but joke's on you. None of our vessels had HP to begin with. This looks like a pretty bad angle here for Rudolph, though. Gonna throw down the irradiates that he can. It's plagued again, but we still had 1 HP, so we don't care. The issue is Kava is getting 2 more bases up and running right now. So we're going to be potentially on a 4-base eco. Mineral-wise, with basically 1 bonus gas, right? Like a depleted gas is a quarter of a gas. We got this one's depleted, this one, and this one. So it's like almost 1 full gas. Nice little medic body block here on the ramp to push this army back. Oh, and our first drop of the game at 33 minutes, actually killing the tech. By the way, I think we got the Ultra Cavern, the Spire, and the Defiler Mound. We're gonna get the spawning pool. Wait, this is like devastating. Okay, we did start the Ultra Cavern right away. Gonna be our spawning pool here. Nope, Defiler Mound. But we do also need a spawning pool, but I mean, you can do that whenever. But yeah, obviously the mound is more priority than the spawning pool. So pretty nice drop here, killing a whole bunch of the tech. Gonna rebuild the Spire. Do we recognize that we need a spawning pool? I'm sure we will soon. And now Rudolph somehow is maxed. Yeah, so I see that a lot too, where Zergs will like land really fat plagues onto vessels and then just make Scourge. I like once you get to this stage, I've always felt like it's so much better to make a Muta, like legit like 2 or 3 Muta, and just one-tap them that way. Like, if they're clumped and you have a Muta fly in and shoot this, that's 3 dead vessels in one shot. But I see Scourge all the time, yeah, and to me this it doesn't feel right to me. Kind of a random drop here. It did get captured, like spotted. It was very optimistic from Rudolph. Gonna try and get a bunch of value out of his vessels here before the Scourge. What was that? 2 or 3 vessels there. A little bit of bumping on the targeting there. Let's see. What is our game state right now? So this is mined out. This is getting close. This is like okay. This should be, yeah, pretty healthy. This is very healthy. So Kava still has a lot of mining to do right now. Yeah, Hydra's also worked fine for it too, for sure. Oh, we got an Eraser down here. Nice. We got 20 kills on this one and 17 on this one, or vice versa. Or not vice versa, 21 and 16. So great Eraser. Kava perfectly fine on the mineral bank, but completely out of gas right now. We're actually not mining this gas at the moment, and that is hurting us quite a bit. See if he notices and fixes that relatively soon. Sorry, I am losing my voice. Yeah, spores are also like crazy, like really, like this setup right here. So if you like plague vessels and you have this setup and then like lurkers and stuff back here, the vessels can't go in because the spore's just gonna one-tap them. All right. So Rudolph is maxed. Same for the PVZ, yeah. True. You get some irradiates down on these lurkers here. 2 more vessels. Third one's gonna go down. Really good for Kavapu here. And we are finally seeing our first BC at 37 minutes. This somehow has turned into a split map, pretty much. PVZ. I feel like I never see that happening. I think we scanned 6 o'clock and saw this setup and didn't want to mess with that. Well, our dropship saw it anyway. I'm still up, yeah, but this will be this is the last one I'm doing, and then I'm gonna head to bed. The Chinese asked me to cast some of their 1v1s, and then Artosis raided me, so I decided to keep going. Oh, nice. Nice swarm here to keep these lurkers alive, stopping that push. I mean, if this breaks through and pushes, and if this pushes through and breaks that position, Kava's like really hurting on gas. In the meantime, sorry, I didn't see this. You know, this counterattack coming down. We got swarms coming down, ultras and stuff breaking into the main base here. Nice swarm again, gonna buy a lot of time and make it basically impossible for Terran to move up this ramp. Just kind of sit inside of the swarm here a little bit. Okay, now we're gonna move in and start trying to kill some SCVs. I mean, Rudolph he has no bank. Like, a supply looked pretty good, but he has no bank. Meanwhile, Kava has a huge bank. Supply looking pretty good for Zerg as well. And I think Rudolph will eventually go down, but like, my god, he put up a fight in a game that I thought was completely over. DC's up here just chipping away at this base. Oh, we actually... No, we did get hit, right? Yeah, surely. Up. Okay, got some links going into this base, because why not? Just clearing off that gas. We don't really know at this point how much gas the Terran has, so even like killing these like quarter gases here can be useful in certain games. And I think we are... I mean, how many times have I said this tonight? I probably shouldn't even bother at this point. But I think we're nearing the end of this game, surely. Yeah, the resource difference is huge. That's kind of what I was mentioning earlier. Kava has a massive bank, but with no gas. Whereas Rudolph is completely broke at this point. And like, we're never busting this position. But the gas! Yeah. Yeah, we're having to make a lot of lings right now. Did we ever fix this? Yeah, see, this is hurting us so much, not mining from this gas. Looks like our command center died to the Zerglings. Gotta be careful, man. 3-3 cracklings, you look away for a second. Ghost. In StarCraft 2, yes. And Brood War Ghost PVZ is like... I guess they're okay against Zerglings. Yeah, even like factory stuff, you kind of want like vultures at this point. Ever use a ghost in TVZ for something besides a nuke? Molly-whopping lurkers. Do they don't outrange lurkers, do they? Right? We have a lot of Defiler, like, everywhere. That sounds so troll, and I love it. Kinda like to see that. Are we gonna mine out for Mirror and a TVZ? Has this ever happened before? Oh, another huge plague. I'm gonna lose these two vessels. Ah, just one. We don't have enough Scourge here yet. And this game is absolutely wild right now. I mean, worker count looks good for Terran still, too. Like, 56 workers is completely fine. We're gonna deny this base again. He's getting close to max again right now, too. But, I mean, Zerg at 150 supplies is so hard to deal with. Lurker's getting a lot of value at this stage in the game. Yeah, the Terran's playing super good. And I didn't even, like, watching it, I didn't feel like... It wasn't like Kava made mistakes, necessarily. Like, I didn't feel like it looked that bad. I think Rudolph's movement to, like, buy himself time and get back into the game and stuff was, like, crazy good. Drop lures to spin down that mineral bank. Actually, yeah, like a ling drops in the main while there's this fighting and going on. Would be pretty devastating. Rudolph is maxed. Okay. He is maxed and denying this base and playing split map. We are mining the gas as hard as we can to make up for lost time. Alright, a few lings and a couple Defiler are going to come down here. Nice plague on the fire bats. Gonna soften that up so they just get chewed up by the Zerglings here. But still enough bio here to clean this up. Another really good plague. Probably even bringing a drone, wanting this base for himself. We got this massive bio ball in the middle right now. Plague? Swarm? I actually don't know who's winning this game. Like, Supply tells me Kava's winning by a lot, but he's having a really hard time closing it out. And, like, Rudolph is mining really well right now. Kava's actually starving more than he is at this point, which is, like, insane to think. A big fight here in the middle. Sorry, I missed, like, half of this. ton of ultras, it looks like, chewing up a bunch of the bio here. Gonna have nothing but medics left over. Reinforcing bio comes in, but I mean, these ultras are still very healthy. First one's finally gonna go down, almost. But like, look at the value of Ultralisk now. And this game went from super close to a few ultras finally shut up. Oh my god, we got 6 BCs. Do we have Yamato cannon? We got second attack coming on the way. I don't think he has Yamato, but if you do, like, Yamato's really, really good in these situations. Defiler. Okay, there's our Defiler. Does hit 4 of the BCs, which is really, really nice. Got a Lurker that snuck down here and gonna kill a bunch of SCVs. Another play going down, so this is gonna take these BCs all down to 1 HP. It looks like we do not have Yamato. I feel like Yamato is such an underused ability in this matchup. So good for killing spores, Defiler, and ultras. This is a crazy game. It's pretty wild, dude. Oh no, he's right-clicked on the hatchery. I was gonna say, like, these BCs easily beat those Scourge, but we were clicked on the hatchery so they didn't turn around to shoot and actually lost several of them. And now a gigantic Ultra Swarm coming for this base. And I think, surely, finally, this game is over, right? Bunch of SCVs going down, all 3 bases being forced to lift. And we are no longer mining now for Rudolph other than just a few patches over here. BCs are +2 actually. It like just finished. And now we see all of a sudden Rudolph's supply plummets. For the first time in this game, he like really dropped down in supply. And kind of last few irradiates going down. Rudolph knowing that the game had to be close. I mean, this base got up. He denied this base here at the end. And there's still actually a pretty decent bit of patches here too. But Rudolph, or not, sorry, not Rudolph. Kavapu still had some mining left over. So it wasn't like completely out of it. And this SCV is going to be repairing for the next like 15 minutes. If he's going to get all 3 of these BCs here. Scans come down. Scans this base. This might be I think it's time for me to leave. Scans. Gearing up for one more attack here, and there's just no way for Rudolph to survive this. Got the Dark Swarm coming down just to make it extra painful here. And GG. That game was actually wild. Rudolph did such a good job turning this into a game. That was a really, really good game. I don't watch much TVZ, but this was a fantastic game. 48-minute long. Almost mined out the entire map TVZ. I'm like super impressed by Rudolph. I actually don't know who this guy is, but I feel like I need to go find out. Yeah, it was a lot of Scourge. That was fun. I really, really enjoyed that game. Alright, this feels like a good stopping point. Yeah, I'm very happy with that game. I'll I have like 1 or 2 more games to cast. I'll save them for later, maybe try to get a couple more. But yeah, I'm gonna head to bed. My head is killing me. I streamed 5 hours of Terran Ladder, or 4 hours earlier, something like that. Now we did like another 3-hour cast after the fact. I'm happy. was a lot of fun. So tomorrow, I will not be streaming any tomorrow. I'm going to take the day off, and then I'll be back. Probably do some ladder. And then maybe this weekend I'll collect some more replays and we can do some more casting. But yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I had a really good time. What is this? He wants me to help him.
Take care of your voice, smiley face.
Thanks, Shield Battery, for the 300 bits, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll take the day off. When I'm casting, I talk a little bit different, and it just kills my voice. When I'm playing, it's like a much more casual way of talking that doesn't really put any strain on it. But I'm hoping over time that we like build some resilience there. Alright, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed the cast. Like I said, I'll be back. I'll probably ladder in a couple days. But I appreciate you guys. You guys have a good night. Let's see if there is someone I can share some love with. Tasteless? Range? You know what? Let's raid Range because we did one of his games earlier, yeah? He's streaming right now. Alright guys, you guys have a good night. Catch you guys later. Peace.